My name is Candy Mendoza, and I'm going to be telling you guys stories from Cuentos para Todos, which is Stories for Everyone by Mari Carmen O'Hara. And these stories started off in Spanish, and Mari Carmen translated them into English, so they're both English and Spanish in the book, which is kind of cool. And I'm going to be telling you guys 3 of them because they're kind of short little stories with a little bit of moral to them. I would do them in a family storytelling session, or maybe with parents with their kids and stuff. And the 3 stories that I'm going to tell you guys today is The Stronger, The Screaming Bag, and The Diamond. So the first one is The Stronger. So the wind and the sun wanted to know which one of the 2 were stronger. So of course they started making a competition. And the sun says, "You see that man over there? The first one to take off his cape is going to be the stronger of the 2. And so the wind's like, "Sure, I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to blow his cape off." And he's like, "And I want to go first." So the wind goes and starts blowing. And he blows harder. And the man just holds on to his cape, Doesn't want to lose it. And the wind just keeps blowing like a hurricane. But the man just holds on to his cape even tighter and the wind just can't blow it away. So the wind stops blowing. And the sun, without saying anything, just gets in and starts throwing his rays at the man. And the sun is just throwing rays that are warmer than usual. And the sun's just so hot that the man starts to sweat. And it is hot. And the man decides to take off his cape. Well, the sun wasn't finished. And he just keeps going and throws down even more rays that are warmer. And the man's like so hot and sweaty that he ends up taking his vest off. And the sun wanted to make sure he was proving his point. And he threw out even more rays, even warmer rays. And the man ends up taking off his t-shirt. So of course, the sun wins a competition. And the moral to that story is sometimes ingenuity is better than strength. And the second story I'm going to tell you guys is called The Screaming Bag. So there was a sarcastic man who liked to make fun of people, and he ends up hiring a servant, and his name was Tribousse. And he assumed Tribousse was pretty dumb, so he decided he was going to play a trick on him. And he's like, "Tribousse, I want you to go to the market and give me a pound of apples. And while you're there, give me a pound of ice." So Tribousse is like, "Sure, boss, I'll get you what you need." So Tribousse walks down to the market, and he gets to the first little station, and he's like, "Can I have a pound of apples?" And the guy's like, "Sure." So he gives him a pound of apples, and Tribousse pays. And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, I need a pound of ice." And the man just starts laughing. And Tribousse is like, "Well, okay, I'll try another little station." So Tribousse walks over to the next one, and he's like, "I need a pound of ice." And that guy just starts laughing at him. So Tribousse soon realizes that his boss is playing a trick on him, and that i's really don't exist. So Tribousse decides he's going to play a little revenge on his boss. So in the bag with the apples, on top of them, he puts in very sharp needles. And so he goes back up to his boss's house, and his boss is like, "Tribousse, did you give me my pound of ice?" And Tribousse is like, "Yes, sir, they're on top of the apples." So Tribousse gives him the bag, and the boss puts his hand into the bag, and he's like, "Ay." And Tribousse is like, "Yes, and underneath them are the apples." So the moral of that story is, don't assume people are dumb, and treat people as you would like to be treated. So the third story I'm going to tell you guys is called The Diamond. So there was this man, and he was very selfish, but he had lots of money, but he never helped anyone. Well, this rich man decides he's going to go to a fortune teller to get his fortune told. And he goes, and the fortune teller tells him, "Your neighbor's going to get all of your money." And the rich man's like, "It's impossible. I'm not going to give him anything." And the fortune teller tells him, "It doesn't matter. Your neighbor's going to get all of your money." So the rich man's like, "My neighbor, I'm not going to let him get anything." So he decides to sell everything, his house, his jewels, and then he goes out and buys this huge diamond because he figures, "I'm going to keep this in my pocket. There's no way my neighbor's going to get my money now." So everywhere he goes, the neighbor has his diamond in his pocket. Well, one day, this rich man decides to go out fishing, and of course he has his diamond with him, and it's really bad weather, and the wind's blowing his boat. He ends up falling into the water, and he realizes that the diamond is no longer in his pocket. So he's sad, but he's figuring, well, at least my neighbor doesn't get to have all my money. Well, that wasn't necessarily true, because a few days later his neighbor went out to the market and bought a huge fish and took it home. Well, he was gutting it, and when he opened it up, inside the stomach he found the huge diamond. So the moral of the story is, be nice, and if you have the means, please try to help out your fellow neighbor, and don't be selfish. So I hope you guys enjoyed those stories, and thank you.